have gluten, but don't want to miss out on banana bread, we have just the recipe for you. Nicole Jones from Surprise Foods is here to show us how to make a gluten-free banana bread. Thank you so much for being here. Number one, first off, this strikes close to my heart. My daughter is gluten intolerant, and I love banana bread. I used to beg my mom to make it all the time because I used to love having it for breakfast in the morning. So I'm so excited to learn how to make a gluten-free banana bread that I can take home for my my daughter.
Absolutely.
So let's just jump right in. What do I know you're using some different ingredients because obviously we can't use wheat flour.
Right.
So let's just start off. What's your gluten-free flour then that you're going to use today?
Okay, sure. So we use a blend of flour. So we have this is our blend, and it has rice flour, potato flour, and tapioca starch, or potato starch and tapioca flour rather. And when you're baking gluten-free, you need to look for the different type of qualities the gluten-free flours offer. So sometimes some will be offer a better crumb or get a little crispier on the edges. So a lot of times you'll find blends.
So it's important to do that research to find like a baking blend gluten-free flour rather than just buying an almond flour, for example. Right.
Okay. Every different flour you choose is going to bring something different to the table.
Okay.
So it's a lot of fun to experiment, at least I think.
Okay. Well, let's get the mix in here. What can we start out with here? I want to bake some food here.
Sure. So first things first, we're going to take our coconut sugar.
Coconut sugar?
Yes, coconut sugar. We don't use, at Surprise Foods, we don't use any refined sugars whatsoever.
Oh, really?
And coconut sugar is wonderful because as opposed to sugar, it offers a good source of a lot of nutrients, trace nutrients.
Okay.
And also, it's a lot lower on the glycemic index. So whereas refined cane sugar is probably around 65 or 70, coconut sugar is going to be at 35. So way lower on the glycemic
the value
index.
There.
Right,
okay,
exactly.
Well, good deal. Then we got some eggs going, or some butter next.
Some butter that I've set out at room temperature. If you want to cheat, you can put it on maybe 40% in the microwave, which is actually what you use. Right, exactly. And that's actually the percentage that we use when we defrost something is 40%. So really kind of low. I'm going to take the eggs, the egg yolks. We did separate the egg yolks and the egg whites. And the reason...
Yeah, why is it important to separate those?
Well, with baking gluten-free, you'll often find that it's difficult to get things to rise the same because gluten's a protein, and it traps a lot of those the air bubbles in and allows things to rise and kind of stay there and have that structure. So we use... let me see here. We have our eggs that we've whipped up.
Oh, look at that.
During break, and we're going to add those in just a minute. And when we whip the egg whites, that just allows it to essentially to rise a little bit more, to make whatever we're baking a little bit lighter.
Okay.
So normally I would mix this in really, really well, but I'm going to go ahead and just get it in there today.
Though. Yeah. It's really hard to ask people to bake stuff in 4 minutes. Yeah. You know, but you're doing a great job, so let's keep working.
Thank you very much.
You're talking about gluten being that protein that helps it kind of rise here a little bit. What else are some challenges that you face when not using gluten in the baking process, and that wheat?
Right. So, like I said, gluten, it's a protein, so it binds things.
Yeah.
When you, like I said, how it allows those air bubbles in, when you see bread that has those big giant air bubbles in it, that's probably going to be from gluten. Yeah. Unfortunately, gluten is, it's not just a fat. A lot of people have gluten intolerances. They're allergic to it.
And I've always want to tell the story whenever the chance. I used to think that it was just kind of a trend diet, or whatever. But then when my daughter started breaking out, we tried creams, we tried lotions, we tried everything. And then someone was like, well, why don't you take her off gluten? We did. And then 2 weeks later, her rash was gone. Right. So it's definitely something that I've seen, and it happens, So it's not just a fad.
Right, exactly. And so there's not only the gluten intolerance and celiac disease, but there's also a lot of autoimmune diseases that cause and issues with inflammation that when you eliminate the gluten, it helps significantly. So what I've done is I've added half of the buttermilk. I'm going to add the bananas, which, another tip. Okay. If you take bananas, a lot of the time you go to the store, you want to make your banana bread. Well, they don't keep the unattractive looking bananas sitting out, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And so a lot of the time your bananas are going to look like this. What I did was I just chopped them up. And I used the mixer, actually.
Oh, really? That's all that was?
And I just beat them up.
Okay.
And it did kind of the same thing that it does when it ages a few days and they get a little bit browner, a little bit more mature, and allows those sugars to come out.
So basically, we just want to mix all this together, and do we get it put into our bread pans here after that?
Right, yes. Okay. So I've already buttered those. Okay. And So I've got the flax seed here.
We got about 90 seconds left here, so you're doing a fantastic job.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So this looks, and it smells divine back here. Again, I said I loved banana bread at the very beginning. I'm not joking. It smells fantastic.
Well, thank you so much.
I'm so excited right now.
Yeah, so we add a vanilla extract and then also a pure banana extract as well, just to give it a little bit extra banana flavor. Sure. Absolutely, why not?
Yeah. And so, is that what this is over here, the vanilla and the extracts? Okay.
Right, so we had the pure Mexican vanilla extract here, and then we had the pure banana extract here. What I'm gonna do now that I've added the buttermilk as well, is I'm gonna put these in here. This is our baking soda and our sea salt.
Okay.
And with gluten-free flours, I would always recommend sifting when baking, but with gluten-free flours especially. So normally we would sift this, but we're gonna avoid a mess here.
Yeah,
we're gonna avoid a mess
for
here.
Later on, yeah.
So.
Well, very cool.
We're gonna fold that in.
Can I jump back to I have a quick question about the coconut sugar. Does that give you any coconut like aftertaste or like a coconut flavoring to what you make?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't really notice that.
Because I was starting to think, I wonder what that would taste like with the banana and like some of the vanilla. I didn't know if any of that would not bleed through, but just kind of give a flavor to it as well.
Right, I like it. I actually, now that I don't eat refined sugar much at all, I actually notice the flavor of that missing when I'm going, or when I do have the sugar, so.
All right, we got it. So basically we put it in the pie plate or the bread plate. How long do you have to bake it for after that?
We bake it for about 20 to 22 minutes. So we have our pre-buttered pan here. And we have aluminum pans, and that's why we butter them. If you have a Teflon pan, you maybe wouldn't need to.
Okay.
We do weigh these out for just to be consistent, so everything bakes perfectly.
All right. Well, we got to wrap it up here, but I'm going to make sure we have some for the end of the show to show off here when we're done. So, Nicole, thank you very much.
Yes.
Belinda, over to you.
Thank you.